all the years I've been taking courses and all the money I've thrown away, this is the most comprehensive for the fretboard I ever taken. And I'm an old dude, and I was still able to learn a lot. And I mean, it's the best thing I've seen out here. And I say that on my mother. Really, I say that on my mother. I would take it again. I would take the course again tomorrow.
In this video, you'll hear from one of the graduates of my program, Alex. Before studying with me, Alex had studied with many other guitar instructors and was frustrated that he wasn't able to understand the fretboard and understand music in the way that he wanted to, and was really pleased to find that, after 2 months of my program, he really learned more than he had learned in years with other instructors. So we recorded this conversation really informally after he was finished with his test at the end of the program. So without further ado, here's an informal conversation with Alex and I.
My expectations of the course was just what you said, and I think you undershot the course because you said, learning the fretboard by the end of this, you're going to know the fretboard, and there was so much more. You went into scales, triads, everything. You just went beyond what I thought. And being well, I played a while, not the greatest. Like I said, I've touched up and down like I told you, from being playing in Baghdad during the war during bounds to now. It appeased me. It went beyond. I think you really went beyond it. If anybody is thinking about the course and they're not sure, tell them to call me. Really, tell them to call me, because I mean, as I said, I've been playing, and even a person that has been playing can use this. Because I know a lot of my friends who have been playing can use this course. It's one thing to get out there and play like they did back in the 60s and 70s. They played pluck, pluck, pluck until they got something that sound good, and then having carnal knowledge of it before you do. And that's what I mean. That's what really impressed me about the course. I really, like I said, I will never throw away any of the handouts, and I'll do them as daily training when I pick up stuff, literally, because it's worth the money a millionfold, of course. I really mean it.
Wow. I really appreciate that, man. I'm happy to hear that that's been your experience.
Right, it's great. It's great. If I had to start it again tomorrow, I'd do it all over again tomorrow.
Fantastic. There's a bit of a glare coming in
Yeah.
from the side.
Here in Italy, let me see if I can move this thing
Yeah,
and get
you
it
can
out.
do it a
Let's
little
see if
bit. That's perfect. Even that just little
better.
moving is great.
Yeah, because the sun's going down over the mountains.
Oh
Yeah, but
yeah.
it's like I said, it's worth it. Course is worth it.
Yeah, man, I
It's
get
super worth it.
I totally get you. I totally get you. Did you feel like the difficulty was appropriate for, where you were at?
Yeah, like I said, as far as the scales, or playing, even just playing the scales and the note memorization, yeah, it's perfect because you can adjust it to however you want. I went fast with it, went crazy, almost broke a string, but you can adjust, and I like that. I try to stay. I never went slower. I always went up. I always went faster. But I think, like I said, I think as well. You did a good job. Really, I really mean it. You did a really good job because all the years I've been taking courses and all the money I've thrown away, this is the most comprehensive for the fretboard I ever taken. Second to reading books, and reading a book you're not putting your hands on. So the way you did it is hands. It's good, hands on. It
Yeah.
makes you want to pick up the guitars more.
Good, man. No, I'd be curious to hear a little more about comparing this course with some of the other materials that you've looked into.
Oh, I don't want to shoot teachers down, but like I said, there's teachers, there's students, there's teachers, and then there's maestros. I write that sometimes, maestro. A maestro can teach. He's a student and he's a scholar. A lot of guys out there are teachers, and the teacher can tell you what he learned, but he can't enforce it or he can't instill it in you. He can't put it into you. In this course, actually, when we have our weekly courses, sometimes time constraints, whatever, all the stuff that's going on in my life here lately with people passing. I Not having you in the course, I still have the materials in hand, and I know. I will go over even your website. I can go over and look at the presentation again, and the questions I had, they're there. So literally, it's actually a no nonsense course. If you sent it to me like that, it was self teaching, and that's a plus. That's a plus. And then we had course when we had our videos, I could also ask you stuff. I was doing wrong or whatever, or you could teach us. Wait a minute, you're doing that wrong. You didn't say wrong, but wait a minute, think about that again. And then like for instance, playing above the octave. when I was playing one of the songs, it's playing out. I was like, nope, that didn't sound right. Then after, and and actually another thing I learned, and this is me being lazy, I actually looked at the song and memorized the song and was playing it wrong. And then played it by ear, so it doesn't sound right. And I went up above the octave on one without looking where it should have been played like that anyway. And I found just by the ear, I found what I did wrong. So there again, there again, it's the course is actually the best course I've seen that was presented to me. And if it was presented to me without even having any contact with you, I could have done it. So that's important for having some materials, in your hand instead of having a teacher saying, you know, do this, do that. No, but believe me, I've been playing since 19. I came back from Israel, 1919. Excuse me, 2019. This time seriously, and I had teachers that it's not about money, but classes after classes after class. I've had one teacher that taught me every day, and I've learned more in this time than you. Then I've learned more with you than I did with him almost a year every day. And
Wow.
there's no fault to him. It's
Sure.
like I said, you can learn, but everybody can learn, but not everyone can teach. Everybody can write, but not everybody can write a book. You know, and that's the problem. There's everyone has different hangups in guitars, as you know. And you helped me get out of mine with this. Just like I said, I'm happy. I'm happy now, and this is what and I waited and I held back from playing a lot things that I played. I stopped and just really focused on these fundamentals here. And now I'm going to go ahead and start playing songs that I like, because all the bells and whistles I know how to do, uh, the hammer-ons and all that stuff. But without that fretboard knowledge, you're garbage. I'm gonna tell you. I'll tell anybody to their face without offending them. If you don't know the fretboard, you're garbage. You're not a complete player. And I think people that don't learn the fretboard will always be people that play music of others. They'll never create music themselves. I've seen a lot of gigs when I go back to Canaries and what guys who play, we play all the time, and these guys can play anyone's songs, but when it comes to improvisation, they're like, what do you do? Just play the major scale in this. It's a major key, play, okay. More with bassist. The bassist is easy for bassist because he's that, a guitarist, and it throws them out, it throws them off beat, out of time, everything. They go off key and they don't understand why. There's only a few masters. Jimmy and those old guys, they're gone, and the old guys are still doing it, but it's hard today, for these us young guys to come up and be these guitar gurus.
I get you, man. I totally get you. And I'm really just it's that's the first time you've ever told me that you had lessons with someone every day for a year and that, you've learned more in this course than you did in the entire year. I'm just so happy to hear that that's been the case because my number one priority is helping students experience the transformation that they want to experience for themselves. So
Exactly.
that makes me really happy to hear that it's just been such a good experience for you.
No, and I really wanted to tell you that because, like I said, it's not a thing about money. Money's not an issue when it's something you want and you love. Not to everyone. And if I had met you 2 years ago, I'd be badass now, literally. Because this is what was holding me back. Picking up the guitar and okay, I'm playing this. I'm playing this. But, oh, I'm off. Oh man, I'm not in the right key.
Yeah.
Oh wow. It's it's to me that was the biggest thing up. I always my personal rule is if you don't know the fretboard, you can never play guitar. Period. That's my personal belief for me. If you
Yeah.
don't know the
I get you.
fretboard, forget.
Yeah.
Because just playing the scales of the first song changed my whole way of seeing it. The first class, the first song was like, wow. Because you're learning the scale, you learn the song, you learn something you can fall back on. And it's also giving you ear training.
Yeah.
Because like I told you, with me, and it's probably, I'm not sure everybody's different. A new
Mhm.
guitarist wouldn't know this, but a seasoned guitarist or an intermediate guitarist, if you're playing a scale and you're playing a song like what you produced, and I'm playing it, I hear I'm out of key, I know I'm wrong right there.
Yeah.
Because, the intention of what you're playing, and it makes a big difference. I mean,
Yeah.
I was like I told you, I found you that night. I found you, wrote you, and you were bought. That's what I said. I'm done. I said that's it. I found
Yeah.
it.
Good. Fantastic. Good, good, good. What do you think it is that's like a little bit different about my style of teaching that really was helpful for you?
it's the beginning. It seemed elementary. I'll tell you the truth. When you first said, "Okay, play this song," we went down. You had your presentation. You had our practice PDF, and I went down and looked at it. All right, this is easy. The first time for me, it was easy, and I was like, "Wait a minute." And I sat back and I thought about what I was doing, and actually, I picked up the guitar and I started playing that scale all up and down the fretboard. I was like, "Wait a minute. Okay, I'm going to each of these notes. Okay," and right there, it opened up the fretboard to me, the first class.
Yeah.
See that is the big difference right there. So you have impact on your first class. The first presentation, the first week, I had an impact. No goal set, but I achieved. And this is the importance. And I tell you, I never want to teach anybody, but if I can go on and make a video and tell people, hey, these are the things you want to do or don't want to do to be able to learn guitar, I would tell them this. The way you set up the class and the course, a little bit of theory, you have your intervals, whatever, and then you have your scale, and that's it. You go and you come on and you grow from there. You know, it's like I told you prior. I played this somewhere over the rainbow. Then I didn't even pay attention to the other songs as much. Today I went and I played them right away with ease. Now at the beginning of the class, I've never been able to do it. They've been looking at the fretboard, watching what I'm doing, and it's not that way anymore. Even going, you go into your sharps, your minors, your the chord changes, whatever. It was easy. It wasn't even to think about. Whereas at the beginning of the class, I would have had to think about it or write it down and practice it. That's how I was getting around, and that's a waste of time. I'd rather play and have fun than practice something.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, man. That's amazing. One of my last questions for you would be if you were having a conversation with someone who was considering taking this course, but they weren't so sure about it, what would you tell them?
Take it. That's it. I wouldn't tell them any expectations. That's the worst thing you can do to somebody. I jump out of planes. I used to jump out of planes for a living. So I want to jump. Guy goes, okay, put a parachute on. He didn't tell me what I was going to face. I jumped into it, and I loved it. If you tell people stuff, they get false. They get false. They people tend to think and create things that aren't there yet. Oh, take this fretboard class. Oh, how is it? It's gonna teach you the fretboard. That's all I would tell them. Because I told them, oh, this and this and this and this. The person that you're already gonna either build a weak person, you're gonna break them down, and a person that's super positive, you're gonna build them up, and they might overshoot. That's a good thing, but 90% of us are gonna be that person gets apprehensive. Well, I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if I can do this. And to tell you the truth, at the beginning, that was the reason why I wanted to do private lessons because I didn't want to underachieve in a group. Tell you the truth, I never told you that before.
I get you, man. I totally get you. Well, it seems like, you've done really, really well. And once you're ready to get in the more group environment, I think you're going to find that you're really going to appreciate, learning from other people's perspectives and, being a part of that group atmosphere. But yeah, man, that all sounds really good. So let's talk a little bit of critical feedback. What are some of the things that I could improve about the course?
Honestly, I don't think anything.
Hmm.
Besides holding a person's hand or sitting right there putting their fingers on the fretboard.
Yeah, I get you. Well,
I really, I
promise.
really, I really mean it because, like I said, what I went through personally. Like I said, and I could tell you honestly, if anybody will ever see this video, I put 75% of effort towards this class, not of my want, because of what was going on in my life at the time, and I still was able to learn a lot. And
Yeah.
I'm an old dude. I was still able to learn a lot. And I mean, it's the best thing I've seen out there. And I say that on my mother. Really, I say that on my mother. I would take it again. I would take the course again tomorrow.
Fantastic. Well, thanks, Alex. Yeah, man, I'm just proud of you. You've really learned a lot. You've really pushed through hard. There were moments in the course where, things were confusing and things were difficult. And like you said, other things in your life came up. And you've just pushed through that and you've demonstrated to yourself that the guitar is something that you're passionate about and the guitar is something that you're willing to work hard on. So I'm just proud of you, man. Good job.
You got to do it. I'm proud of you for creating a good class. And I hope other people take it. Other
Yeah.
enthusiasts take it because if you don't have this is the building blocks. If you don't know the keys, if you don't know the fretboard, just give it up. You know,
I get you,
just get
man. I totally get you. If you'd like to have a similar amount of progress that Alex has experienced, then you can check out the main video pinned onto my YouTube channel. It's basically going to run you through all the details of my guitar program, answer all the questions that you could have about it. And if the guitar program sounds like something that would be a good fit for you, then you can DM me on Instagram, or we can schedule a call and make sure that it is a good fit for you, because I'm very adamant about only letting people into the program that I'm really confident that I can help a lot. So hopefully that's you, and I get to talk to you soon. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.